better health.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private healthcare affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we cannot have a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business, I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not
Let's go to the last part.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
wanna
to me. Respond to me. How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services, yeah.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
As always, we appreciate you starting your day with us. Let's get into this morning's first conversation. Is the country's healthcare system more at risk more than ever? Why it has remained unaddressed for so long?
Political parties get lots of cash, big cash from financiers, and then when they get that now, you can't account for it.
But it's really the specialist nurses who we are in a greater shortfall for.
We can tap into the resources and have them, at least form some mentorship programs.
Highlight our food systems, and which will attract persons from all over the world to come and experience something that actually supports the local economy.
We're lucky that we have a vibrant legal system that allows change to take place, and it's not that matters are just swept under the carpet and discrimination is allowed to be perpetrated.
A lot of people don't know that there were attempts to ban the carnival, suppress the carnival.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist.
When good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
WESN.
Welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish.
And I'm Jada McLeod. How are you doing today, Naomi?
I'm good this morning. I'm good. So we wanted to start off the morning talking about something that was very important in our history.
Is this a day in history where we want to remember?
Always need to remember it. You know, so it's not something we would forget. So on July 27th of 1990, Trinidad and Tobago faced one of the darkest and most defining moments in our post-independence history. A day that started like any other was quickly transformed into chaos, fear, and uncertainty as the nation found itself in the grip of an attempted coup. This was led by Yassin Abu Bakr and members of the Jamaat al-Muslimin. This insurrection shocked the Caribbean and the world. Today we look back at what really happened, the lasting impact on our democracy, and why this moment must never be forgotten. So we got a video. This video is from Ian Allen. Full credit to Mr. Allen for this video. Take a look.
At 6 p.m. this afternoon, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was overthrown. The Prime Minister and members of the cabinet are under arrest. We are asking everybody to remain calm. The revolutionary forces are commanded to control the streets.
Get caught up in a system where to live man holding and shooting guns. It's the survival of the fastest hand in the kingdom that crowns the smartest man. Chasing joy is the sorrow, here today gone tomorrow come. Mama, we must face the morning after, cause we don't do grace.
If these people were rightly guided, then why has God given us the power over them? Why are we sitting here tonight before you? Who makes the decision in the universe? Isn't it not your creator? Where is the Prime Minister tonight to address the nation? Where is he? God has removed him. God has removed the authority, not the power, because no man, including myself, has any power. We have only temporary authority because we all die. To control the streets. There shall be no looting.
There once was a place, yeah, there once was a land where the people toiled daily, both woman and man. They worked to the bone, but they were not alone, cause they cared for each other and this land was their home. Till one day black gold sprouted out from the ground, from the earth it did spill, spreading wealth all around. And they all
to know that
in these issues. The issue
As the assault began at TTT at 6 o'clock that evening, so too did a violent and coordinated attack begin at Parliament. But it would be days later before these images would emerge.
What have you to say about the people lost their lives and whatnot in 1990?
People losing their life every day.
No, we're talking about 1990.
But 1990 was a war. People just lose their life. When a war, his life and property just lose. I lost my stepson. They murdered him. That was no accident. They murdered him. I was in TTT. Nobody didn't lose their life. You know that? I was in TTT for the 5 days and then nobody lose their life. The women who were there, I gave them money out of my pocket and they went home.
I know a particular woman that you did give money to and you sent her back for her purse.
Yes, yes. No, we sent from all the women. We don't fight with women. As a man, I just fight with men.
You sent her for her purse in her vehicle?
All the women. We let them out. And the strange people who were visitors there, we kept a few people there because we needed them to operate the cameras and things like that. But everybody else we sent home. So, but 1990 is long gone. The bad thing about 1990 is that the politicians has not learned anything. That is the bad thing.
Do you think you'll come around to teach them a second lesson?
But I just told you that.
Yeah, so right after, on August 1st, the insurgents they surrendered and they were tried for treason, but the Court of Appeal upheld the amnesty offered and they offered to secure the surrender and they were released. So the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council later invalidated the amnesty, but they weren't re-arrested after that fact. So most of the insurgents, all of the insurgents were kept out of city control or state control. About 24 people died during the coup attempt, with millions of Trinidad and Tobago dollars in property losses. Among the dead was Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central, Mr. Leo Devines, and many persons saw the coup attempt as the end of the power of the National Alliance for Reconstruction government. That is to be debated. Yeah. But it caused a lot of distress to our very small country. You know, when you hear about things like this, and especially somebody who's young and who, to be honest, I wasn't born as yet. So when you hear about it, you don't think it's Trinidad and Tobago. I remember when someone was first describing to me, I don't know if it was in school, if it was at home, they were first describing to me what the coup was. I bet my bottom dollar that it was America they were talking about. I thought it was France or somewhere in Europe. I mean, that coup was Trinidad and Tobago, small parlor on the corner. Yeah, and it definitely did something that left an impact on a lot of people who were traumatized by the events of that day and the days that followed. I really wonder if people our age, even a little bit older, a little bit younger, fully understand what that meant for our country. Because again, I really and truly remember not believing that it actually happened. And even a couple of years ago when someone asked me, Jen, do you know what today is? It was a couple of years on this day, July 27th, and I was like, why is it important? And everybody was so shocked. They were like, how do you not know? And from that moment on, I made it my what's the word I'm looking for? I made it a point to never forget. You know how about 9/11, they say they never forget. For ours in the 1990 coup, we would never forget. Because regardless of whatever political aspirations or political changes we felt needed to be made at that time, the way in which it was done, where 24 people were killed and our government was overthrown, that was incredibly wrong. Regardless of how you feel about the political situations at the time, the fact that people lost their lives, people were hurt, people were traumatized, that was a stain on our history, definitely. Yeah. And just to show how important this is and why we have to every year always commemorate it, always talk about it, because it's something that is part of our history and it's something that we have to, let the younger generations know about as a major part of our history. So there's an article here. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Visasa promises national memorial for 1990 attempted coup victims. So I know yesterday they opened up the Red House to allow people to come and lay wreaths and just pay their respects to the victims of that day. And yeah, so she's gonna make a memorial. That's amazing, because it's a really step. Yeah, we really need to remember it, because I mean, if you don't remember history, if you don't learn the lessons of history, then it's bound to repeat itself. I mean, right now, we do have political tensions right now as well. People are always making these baseless threats, you know, we should have another, I've heard that we should have another coup, this, that, and the third, about, you know, you're not particularly liking or particularly in favor of a certain government official or a certain government. But a coup is not the way to go. So I think it's a good thing that we remember what it was like. We harp on the fact that people lost their lives. Yeah. We make sure that let people know that this is not the way in which to go. Yes, you may have certain disagreements, and even if it's further than that, maybe you want to use the word resent or hate, and all of these big, strong emotions, which are valid, but there's a way in which to express your disagreements. And, you know, harsh threats like this about the 1990 coup, or bringing back the 1990 coup, that's completely insensitive, and it makes absolutely no sense for someone, a Trinidadian, a Trinbagonian, to be saying, especially when you know the history. You have no excuse now. You can't not know the history. So the fact that this current government has planned to memorialize, and I'm not too sure how and when that would happen, but I am looking forward to see what actions take place, and I know that we all are looking forward to see what the actions of this government do to preserve and memorialize this day. Yeah. Another thing we would have wanted to discuss, we wanted to stay on local news. The Trinidad and Tobago hotline, or Tobago hotline, an app for emergency response. So the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Fali Augustine, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, has announced the Tobago hotline, an app for emergency response, which promises to give Tobagoans a faster emergency response, for it not to have to flow through a Trinidadian command center. It will be completely handled in-house by Tobago. So right now it is in beta testing by members of the tourism industry. So you can take a look at this video for more information.
The Safe Tobago app and hotline being designed is part of the wider plan key to keeping Tobagonians and local and international tourists safe, says Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. The Tobago-specific hotline 631 Help will ensure a quicker response to security challenges, as emergency calls originating in Tobago will no longer need to be routed through a command center in Trinidad.
This this hotline that was installed by the Tobago House of Assembly is domiciled at the Shervan Police Station, where 24/7 we guarantee that someone will be there to answer and to ensure we have a faster dispatch.
The Safe Tobago app will be launched under the Division of Tourism and adds another layer of security. The app is currently being tested by beta users in the hotel and tourism industry and will be made available on both Android and iOS platforms.
Well, the app is also another layer for which you can communicate with security forces on island. The difference is that with the app, you can send photos in real time, videos in real time, while at the same time communicating for help.
Chief Secretary Augustine further explained that efforts to make communities safer will include developing pathways for young people to self-actualize, especially through sport tourism, which is a strong mandate of the newly appointed THE Secretary, Mr. Wayne Clark.
That's a big step for Tobago. Very happy for them. This is something that they no longer have to, in terms of their hotline, or if you have to make emergency calls, they no longer have to go through Trinidad. A command center in Trinidad. Which to me was kind of, why was that? I mean, I understand why it was like that in the first place. There probably wasn't the technology available. Maybe somebody didn't think of it. No, but I don't know what it was. But the fact that it's
Tobago being its own
place, and I guess this is what they've been fighting for so long. And it's its own place, you know. Yes, it's Trinidad and Tobago, but Tobago is an island by itself as well. So that is something that you know, we have to always remember. And Trinidad, yes, we are the main island, but in terms of something like safety, these emergency calls, you can't have it routed through anything else. Trinidad, it will take too long.
Because the emergency response, the fire officers, the police officers, whoever, the ambulances, they're in Tobago, they're not in Trinidad, they don't have to come on a boat to Tobago. They're stationed in Tobago, so the fact that the calls were routed through Trinidad, for whatever reason, was kind of disappointing to hear, but the fact that the THA Chief Secretary, or just the Tobago House of Assembly, is addressing this at this time is well done, and continue to excel in that space. So congratulations, Tobago. I hope that there's more to come in this regard for you. Not just emergency response, but for all of your reasonable asks, because I mean, at the end of the day, Tobago is owed a certain level of autonomy. While Trinidad has most of the responsibility in terms of, we bear a lot of the responsibility in terms of a lot of things. Tobago is owed autonomy, and I can only hope for more of that for you. Moving on, we wanted to stay on local, but this was a story that Naomi would have sent to us that I thought was really interesting. It's happening in South Africa when it comes to solar energy. I thought it was interesting because usually I watch this TikTok. I'm a TikTok person. That's a social media application, and there is a creator that makes TikTok videos from South Africa, and she always talks about the fact that they don't have electricity. And I was like, that's something like Trinidad, a little bit. Like they don't have electricity, but the way in South Africa they take it is it's horrendous. You can go days without electricity, and it just goes at random times, or they may get an alert before that electricity is being taken out. So even if it's like even in the wealthier areas, the electricity just goes. So that's just what they're accustomed to. So what we are seeing now is that they're making a huge push towards solar energy, not just for the wealthy, but there's an option for everybody now. So you can take a look at this video for this information.
You're with Business Today. I'm Sally Bundock. In South Africa, frequent power cuts is an issue that everyone's been battling with now for over 15 years. For those who have the means, they have been able to go off grid. They are kitted out with expensive solar systems and alternative energy sources. Now, local companies are introducing pay-as-you-go backup power systems, which allows others in less well-off areas to finally be able to do the same. From Johannesburg, Pumza Fihlani has this report.
With stage 6 load shedding announced the last time.
In South Africa, power cuts have become part of daily life. Planned blackouts by Eskom, the country's power utility, have crippled businesses and homes for nearly 15 years. At the heart of Eskom's problems is aging infrastructure, poor planning for increasing energy demands, and a power utility besieged by corruption and mismanagement. In recent years, the few that can afford the high upfront costs have gone off-grid, installing solar systems which can cost up to $16,000. This is money the majority of people here simply do not have. Having regular power supply has increasingly become a privilege here. The power crisis has led to not only a stunted economy, but the loss of millions of jobs and opportunities. In the townships, small businesses barely making profits are doing what they can to try and change the odds. In Krugersdorp, west of Johannesburg, Julius Gobetseng runs a small grocery shop, a spaza. For more than a decade, it's helped to put food on the table until the lights went out.
It was affecting us directly to our pocket because you need to make an alternative. We need a lot of electricity. The fridges need to run every day. If you don't have electricity, you can't even sell the frozen. Maybe it will be rot. It's costing also you the money for that damages.
Then earlier this year, Julius installed a pay-as-you-go solar system. No more power cuts, no more spoiled goods. He says it's helped save his business. The system comes from Utility, a South African startup. At the manufacturing plant, teams are hard at work to keep up with increasing demand. Solar may not be new, but this business's subscription model is, and it's created a way for township businesses and lower-income households to also get in on the solar boom.
We had to look at the market across the different segments and start to curate products that are fit for purpose and are affordable for that part of the market. Because part of our mission is to make sure that as many homeowners and small businesses have access to power, but not all of them on the affordability scale can afford the same standardized product. So we had to do quite a bit of innovation and engineering to make sure that we provide that.
In the Moodley household, the move to solar was about something bigger. For Mark's elderly mother, a constant supply of electricity for her oxygen machine is essential. In the past, being without power has been life-threatening.
It's been a lifesaver, and even now, with the solar, it adds its value. Because I don't have to go around, oxygen doesn't get depleted, and I don't have to rush her into emergency when there's no electricity.
As South Africa's energy crisis drags on in a country drenched with sunshine, solutions like these are not only offering power and stability, but may bring back a glimmer of hope. Pumza Fihlani, BBC News, Johannesburg.
Congratulations, South Africa. I know that this is something that they've been grappling with for a long, long time. I believe the power cuts come from load shedding. And I know there's somebody out there that's a little bit more technical than I am. I could probably explain it a little bit better. But I believe it's just when maybe the power supply is overloaded and the command central or whoever needs to shut off power in a specific district, as I understand it, for a certain amount of time. Sometimes the timing is really, really, really long, where they can go days, sometimes weeks without power, and then they get it back for a period of time, and then it goes out for another period of time. So it sounds absolutely horrible to have to go through. I mean, you have to learn how to navigate life without electricity, and think about how many things that we use electricity for on a daily basis. You know, from the time you get up, maybe your alarm is set using electricity. For the time you go to bed at night, when you have to use the pump for a shower or something like that, however you use your stuff. Ironing, washing dishes, if you have a dishwasher, that sort of a thing. The oven, the microwave, all of these different things. Entertaining your children, the television, you know. Even when it comes to just the basic things about life that we take for granted. Other people, they struggle a little bit more with keeping the groceries, the mini-marts, their fridges cooled on up to temp. You need electricity for that. What if the corner shop, every single time you pass by the corner shop, if they had no electricity to the point where there was no corner shop, what would Trinidad become without parlors? What would Trinidad become without parlors? Really and truly, is a parlor on every street sometimes too. What would we become? So congratulations, South Africa, for this temporary adjustment where they're able to, because sometimes it's like, it's not that solar is a new thing for them. It's just that it's expensive. So I think they said it was 16,000 a year or something like that, or maybe however long it was. That's a lot of money. So most people can't be affording that. So I think there was a solution, and I think there was a solution where they're able to almost subscribe to or lease the power every single month to, at a more affordable price, so persons who were, a little less affluent could afford.
And while it is something positive and leading in the right direction for them, we also have to consider the challenges that they might face, right? And that is, I mean, it's a solution to a problem that they're facing right now. But then, with solar energy, or using solar energy to power your electricity, you have overcast days. You have some days where the sun is not that, the sky is cloudy, and these are things that
it's usually
it's unavoidable, right?
We wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, but despite that, this is something positive for them, you know, and it will answer, it's a solution to an issue that they're currently facing, despite the negative sides of it, or the cons.
Yeah, something I want to look into, and I'm hoping we can have a conversation on this shortly. It would be the problems that they face, as you were introducing that whatever problems that they may face with solar. I mean, if anybody out there knows a lot about solar, it'll be an interesting conversation.
Because, you know, when you think about it, solar energy is something, like you said, it's nothing new, right? But why haven't we gotten, like, why isn't it something that we are jumping toward it?
Yeah.
You know, because when you think about it, it sounds, you can romanticize solar energy as something very useful, right? It's coming from the sun. The sunlight is free, right? Us harnessing sunlight in our everyday life, it seems like the most sustainable thing.
It doesn't take years or millions of years to form or anything like that. It's
always there, right? But clearly, there has to be things that we're not seeing, or as we would understand. But so, yeah, I think it's a conversation we should have, just to unpack, you know, what are the pros and cons of solar energy.
Especially for countries in a climate like ours, where, I mean, the sun is always doing its best to shine so brightly on us every single day.
Yeah, I remember growing up, there was a lady, an older lady, and her house, completely solar powered.
In Trinidad?
In Trinidad. She lives on the mountains.
Beautiful.
And her house is completely solar powered. So that is something that I remember I was so in awe, you know, hearing about something that I've never seen it before, never. She's the only person that I know of that has that.
And I know in Trinidad we do have people that use it, and I wonder what would have afforded them that ability, because if it was only, say, persons who are more affluent, then we would be seeing it all across certain regions in parts of Trinidad.
I think, like you said, it's expensive. That's probably one of the major factors.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes, it's sustainable. Yes, it's sunlight. But to get the infrastructure to harness this sunlight into energy is where I think the cost lies, and not everybody can afford that.
And even when we take the regular electricity that we use right now from ICNTT, the government is subsidizing that for its citizens. So again, the government will now have to go and subsidize whoever is providing solar energy. Is ICNTT in a position to provide that? Because some people wouldn't want to switch to solar. Some people would want it to have their own reliable, even though it's kind of unsustainable. So would they have to provide both, and can they provide both? What would that switch look like? How long would that switch, take? How long will it take before we can do that? So it's an interesting conversation to have, and I'm sure that you guys would want to hear more about this as well. So we will do our best to have that conversation up and ready for you in the coming weeks. So moving on, my favorite topic, artificial intelligence. So CNN's, one of the CNN my apologies. Newscaster sat down with Bill Gates to talk about the future of artificial intelligence. He provided some really valuable insight into where he sees it going and where his company is using AI right now. So take a look at this video. I thought it was very interesting, and we'll have a discussion afterwards.
On Wednesday, the White House announced its plan to make America the world leader in artificial intelligence. The main way it will seek to do that, it appears, is to scale back on regulation of AI. I recently had a chance to sit down with Bill Gates to talk about how he sees the present and future of AI. Bill Gates, pleasure to have you on. We've been trying to track on this show the progress of AI. And the place we're now at is everybody talks about AGI, general intelligence. What's the difference between artificial intelligence and what people are now predicting, which is artificial general intelligence?
You know, the people use very different definitions, and you can say, when is AI so good that something like a telesales job or telesupport job, that just having the AI do that work, that it's way cheaper and more accurate than humans are. So that's, really looking at the labor substitution piece. Or you can look at the most creative things that humans do, like come up with a new drug that helps with tuberculosis. And look at, okay, is AI just helping humans get this done, or is it eventually replacing humans? Like people talk about writing code. Simple coding tasks, AI today can replace human work. The most complex coding tasks, it's not able to do yet. And people in the field disagree. Is that within the next year or two, or is it more like 10 years away? But AI, AI is improving at a rate that surprises me. Things like this deep research capability. A few times a day I take some complex question, and just for fun, I see in the AI does an awfully good job gathering all the materials and bringing it, summarizing what I need to know.
Satya Nadella says 30% of Microsoft's code is now being done by AI. That seems inevitably to mean, one, you'll hire fewer coders, you'll need fewer of all. I mean, what does a paralegal do at a law firm? They do discovery, which is essentially pattern recognition, which is very easy for AI to do. Similarly, entry-level people at accounting firm, right? All that is going to mean white-collar work. College-educated graduates are going to have a more challenging job environment.
Well, when you improve productivity, you can make more, and so it shouldn't mean, if you get less productive, that's bad, and if you get more productive, that's good. It means you can free up these people to have smaller class size, or have longer vacations, or to help do more. So it's not a bad thing. The question is it come so fast that you don't have time to adjust to it? And in parallel, the blue-collar work, when the robotic arms start to be decent, which they're not today, that starts to affect even larger classes of labor. So this is a profound set of changes. I'm working with Microsoft, OpenAI on these things. My lens is, let's make sure it gets out in low-income countries to help with their health and education and agriculture.
So finally, what advice would you give to young people who are thinking about how do you enter the world of AI? What should the skills they develop be?
If you get to very profound levels, you almost get to philosophical questions. In this transition period, the ability to use these tools is both fun and empowering. I used to have an advantage that I have very smart people I can call up when I get confused about physics. But now I actually use deep research, and then I'll send that answer to my, smart friends and say, hey, did it get it right? And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, you didn't need me. And so you can really learn so much. And the idea of the tutors that people like Khan Academy are building, and how we'll get that out all over the world. And so embracing this and tracking it will be very, very important. That doesn't guarantee that we're not going to have a lot of dislocation. But I really haven't changed my be curious, read, and use the latest tools recommendations for young people.
Be curious, read, and use the latest tools, in this case, AI.
Absolutely.
Bill Gates, pleasure to have you.
So, that conversation with Fareed Zakaria, Bill Gates, he definitely did not shy away from
his passion.
And the big question, he described artificial intelligence as the most powerful, or the most profound, technological shift in the history in decades, right? So And it's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I saw in 2023, he had a blog, Bill Gates, he had a blog post titled, "The Age of AI Has Begun," right? And in that blog, he laid out clear and urgent messages. AI will change the way we work, learn, and live faster than most people realize. And we have been seeing that beginning to unfold. Day by day, month by month, things are happening.
I love artificial intelligence and what it can be. I'm also saying that to save my butt in case it rises up as a robot and overtakes us as a country or as a world. But I like artificial intelligence and what it has the ability to do for us. But there's an article I'm reading here in the Newsday from author, journalist, librarian, and activist Debbie Jacob, where it's entitled "Beware of Artificial Intelligence." She's not against it. It's very clear in her writing. She's saying that she's not bashing AI, it's here to stay, but that there's no reason, there's no reason to fight that. But before it can completely take over, it needs to be taught in school. Students need to be taught critical thinking before they can critically assess AI, because AI is a tool, right? And what it does is incorporate a lot of bias into it. So what it does is it searches the internet for the information. Sometimes the information is going to be incorrect. It's going to take a couple of tries before it gets something that's a little bit more accurate. As Bill Gates was referring to what he called deep learning, that's something that's a little bit more technical. And usually it's a system that you have to pay for, the one. But even when it comes to deep learning, the system, the AI, whatever you use, has to be going through information, a good bunch of information, more information, and then you have to give it a couple of tries before it comes back with an accurate answer or something resembling accuracy. For the types of artificial intelligence that we may be using here in the Caribbean in the years to come, that we would like to use here in the Caribbean in the years to come, students first have to be taught how to think critically. They need to be taught media literacy, because even there are journalists even now who are quite skilled when it comes to media literacy that are being stumped by things that artificial intelligence has pushed out. So now we have to kind of get off of the wave of the novelty of artificial intelligence and think about what it really, how it's going to really be used, because the thing is, it's moving quickly, so we need to adopt it, yes, but we need to know how to adopt it for our particular citizenry. Our citizenry, while smart, educated, do we really have the critical thinking skills to fully introduce AI into our education system? We have students who don't know how to read, who don't know how to write, who don't know how to do math just yet, that are and have to sit examinations where they're required to do all of those things, and then when they don't pass, they fail out of the system. What are we going to do with those? And unfortunately, that's a high number of students. So what are we going to do with those students, and how we're just going to push artificial intelligence on them and hope that AI solves the problem? No, AI is only going to exacerbate the problem. So we need to know how it is we're going to first teach critical thinking, teach logistical thinking, then introduce AI, and then teach students how to use the AI. They can't just put it in front of them, or even in front of the teachers, and say, hey, teach this. Are you mad? They don't know, they won't know.
It has to have proper training. And that point that you're on is, exactly what Bill Gates was talking about with his sit down. He said that we need to rethink how we prepare people for the workplace. Right? Exactly. He said the current system is not built for a world where machines can write essays and code.
Exactly.
Then further, Zakaria pressed him on the dangers like job loss, misinformation, and misuse of AI by people, which is something that we constantly talk about when referring to AI, similar to this article that Jada was reading. And then we see Bill Gates acknowledged those risks, but he also argued that the greatest danger is failing to guide this technology responsibly, which again is now Jada's point, right? He stressed the need for AI governance framework, collaboration across borders, and ethical leadership in tech development. So, and I agree, the only way that we can, that we would be able to use AI to its full potential in the best way possible is to be educated properly. And it can, because yes, people are scared about the job loss, about AI replacing, you know, things that we can do, and things that we have always, the older generation especially.
That was the bread and butter.
Yeah, and people are concerned that AI is gonna mess with our critical thinking, and the younger generation is going to be too highly dependable on AI, right? But I think this can be avoided if we use it responsibly, and if we teach the upcoming generations how to use AI, and still depend on your own thoughts and your own consciousness, and you know, it's still possible, but it has to be taught the right way.
What I'm kind of fearful of is that we're having these realizations a little too late.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's here, right? Students are using it every single day. I know people who use AI from the time they wake up to the time when they go to bed, right? When AI first was introduced to me, I was all for it. But then you have to realize if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And I'm not against it at all. I'm actually one of its biggest fans. But I need to advocate for us to be able to use it long term and sustainably. We need to learn it. And I know I don't want to harp on this point too much because I feel like we all get it, that we need to learn it. But how that learning is going to take place. Because right now, even our leaders don't know how to use it effectively. Right now, it's new to our leaders. Are we paying enough attention to this? Yes, we have this new government of, Ministry of Artificial Intelligence. Is it that they're teaching those ministers
anything
from
that ministry? Yes,
we haven't heard anything. Is it that they're teaching? Tell us that. If it's that they're in the learning process, they're bringing down experts, because there are a lot of people that are willing to share the information. If you listen to persons who are the creators of these artificial intelligence, generative AI models, they're more than happy to teach you about it, because at the end of the day, they know that for this to be sustainable, we need to get it. We need to know how to use it. And we need to make sure that it doesn't use us. Because the thing with artificial intelligence is it's smarter than us because it's a collective of information. It has information from the experts and information from the paupers. It's a collective expert. So it's smarter than us. And I remember, I think it was Sam Altman of ChatGPT, the creator of ChatGPT, who said that he doesn't want to live in a world where his child is smarter than artificial intelligence. Are you kidding me? So yes, artificial intelligence is smarter than us. But we need to know how to tame it, if that makes sense. Yeah? Because when calculators were introduced, yes, calculators are smarter than us, but calculators didn't think for us. We told calculators what to calculate. So I don't think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. But when you think about that, I mean, saying artificial intelligence is smarter than us, yes. But you also have to keep in mind, we are the ones that have the consciousness. So technically, I mean, artificial intelligence is all about the book's logic, and there's no, and this is where I think a lot of people get confused and don't draw a proper line, right? Artificial intelligence can't think the way you think. It's going to tell you this is that, black and white, right? There's no... Unless, you see, you can, and I've seen this, people do this with ChatGPT, they can make ChatGPT seem as though it's real and it's giving these emotional responses, but it's not. It's based on the prompt you give it, how well you describe what you're asking for. Yeah. And it does it based on that, but there's no emotion attached. ChatGPT AI, it has no emotion. There's no consciousness there. So, and people get confused. So people tend to think, well, I can have this heart-to-heart conversation with AI.
You can't. It's artificial. That's what's called artificial intelligence. It can replicate humans, human abilities, what's already out there.
Based on what you give it learns how to pull
information from what you say. So if you say, I'm very sad, okay, I'm going to use chat because in our generation we tend to say
Yeah.
chat, what's up, right? So I'm giving ChatGPT a nickname. So we can say, chat, I'm feeling very sad today. Chat is going to scour the internet for periods in time where humans would decide they were feeling sad and the proper way in which to respond. So usually the response to I'm feeling sad is, I'm so sorry, why are you feeling sad? So chat's going to give you that response because that is what's out there in the wider net. That's what humans have put out there. So it's going
And
to
to
scour,
understand what this sad feeling is.
Yeah, chat does not know what sadness is, but it does know how to go and do a search. What is sadness? And whatever's out there, or the first or second thing, chat takes that and gives it back to you. Now, when you go into different types of artificial intelligence, as Bill Gates was talking about deep learning there, it allows the artificial intelligence machine to go a little bit deeper in terms of research. That's all that it means. It's just more research, deeper research, more things they're taking into account. But for us regular folks who aren't willing to pay for artificial intelligence right now, it's just going to give us the first couple of search boards. It's going to take all of that and give it back to us in an answer, right? But if we say, chat, I'm feeling very sad, give me a nasty response. Respond to me like you hate me. Chat is going to respond to you like he hates you, or it hates you. It's going to say something like, good, I'm glad you're feeling sad. That's good. That's a really good thing. I'll continue to feel sad. You should feel sad. Your life is sad. That is how chat's going to respond to you because you asked it to respond to you like that. So it doesn't feel, as Mimi was right when she said that. It can only respond to what you prompted to. So it's an interesting thing. It can be used for good, but because of its malleability, it can also be used for bad, horrible things. Yeah. So Ms. Debbie Jacobs, she's very, very right, and I'm glad I came across her article today in the Newsday. She's right. We need to be able to use it effectively, and we need to be taught how to use it. It's a tool, It's something that we have to get a grasp of. And one of the last questions Fareed would have asked Bill Gates there was, what can young people like ourselves learn about AI? What is necessary to learn about AI right now? How can we interact with it in a way that's going to better us, better our generation, especially for the workforce? I thought that was a really great question, and it's something that I've always wanted to put into words. How can I use AI right now? How can I learn about AI right now? What's the most pertinent things to learn about AI right now? And I think usually if you don't know anything, the start is just to research the different types of AI, play around with an artificial intelligence machine and see the answers that it gives you, prompts it, give it different prompts, and learn how to use it like that. And if you can learn it for research, there's only up. You can go from there.
Yeah.
Where you can have a handle on it.
Yeah. So I think right now we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and continue with more. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
morning and welcome back to AM Prime on WESN. So we're just continuing with some news updates that we would have come across, things that we thought would be interesting for you guys to know about. This is something that came across my feed a couple of days ago, my news feed a couple of days ago. It was something that happened in the US. It went viral. It went so viral. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it by now, and if you haven't, now is your chance. A Floridian man was punched by a Jacksonville officer in a viral traffic stop. There's nothing to prepare you for what you are about to see, so please sit down and take a look at this video.
A video appearing to show an aggressive arrest right here in Jacksonville. It has garnered hundreds of thousands of views on social media today. And we want to show you what we're talking about. This is the video. This man is 22-year-old William McNeil Jr. He was caught on camera getting his window broken by some Jacksonville sheriff's officers while this was a traffic stop. And then he's punched in the face at least twice during the course of this video. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office telling us that McNeil was pulled over for not having his headlights on while it was raining. McNeil refusing to get out of the car when told to by police officers. Now, within the last 2 hours, we're learning McNeil, the driver, hired 2 high-profile civil rights attorneys, and that's where our Zach Wilcox comes in. He's joining us in the studio tonight. And Zach, you spoke to one of the attorneys.
Yeah, Jess, I talked with Harry Daniels, one of the attorneys that he brought in, who said he feels the officers were out of control here, and he feels the only person who was in control in this situation was McNeil. Now, Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters announced the agency is investigating the video to figure out the circumstances of what happened. And with that context, let's take a look.
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right?
The video from this past February begins with William McNeil Jr. explaining to a Jacksonville Sheriff's officer, who you can't see on camera, that an officer pulled him over for not having his headlights on.
There's no rain. It doesn't matter.
I asked First Coast News crime and safety analyst Ken Jefferson about the headlights law.
What was the probable cause for the stop? The statute for pulling someone over for driving without your headlights is if it's foggy, if it's smoky, or if it's raining, or if there's any kind of precipitation. Based on the video that I watched, it looked as though the sun was out.
McNeil then asks to see the law, and the officer says he'll show it to him when he agrees to step out of the car.
If an officer asks you to get out of your car on a traffic stop, just comply. You're not going to win an argument on the street with an officer, so don't go back and forth with them.
Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here. I'm here. What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. All right. No.
Why did you use that type of force when a person is not being combated, physically combated, or actually resisting you physically?
Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters issued a statement saying, in part, quote, "We have launched an internal investigation into it and the circumstances surrounding this incident. We hold our officers to the highest standards and are committed to thoroughly determining exactly what occurred."
Exit the vehicle now.
The driver's attorney, Harry Daniels, says it took months for his client to recover.
His tooth went through his lip at some point. He had to get stitches. Been slammed on the ground. He suffered a closed head injury.
I asked Daniels what the ideal outcome would be now that his law firm is involved in the case.
The officer that punched and beat him, and the ones who watched and they do nothing, should be held to the same rule of law that everybody else is held to. So arrest and prosecution, that's a perfect world.
A spokesperson with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office told me he wasn't aware of any official complaints filed with the department for this incident. Daniel says they'll likely host a press conference this week, which we'll make sure to share with you. Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.
When I watched the video, my jaw dropped, first to begin with, because I was not expecting the initial punch to the face. After the window was shattered, the initial punch to the face. Mm-hmm. Why would an officer do that? Mm-hmm. And I just want to mention, because when Jada told me about it, one of my first questions to her was, it was a black eye, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's the, like, mm-hmm. Yeah. It looked like about four.
It was 5 officers.
5 officers, white officers, and this one black male. Now, I give full credit to this young man for holding his composure.
That's hard.
He did not fight back. He did not throw hands back at the officers, because then obviously things would have gotten a lot worse, and then the officers would have had something to use against him, right? So, I mean, this is something that he can, and I do hope, I pray that he can get some sort of justice where this is concerned, because he deserves a lot.
He deserves every dollar that the state is going
After
to give
this,
to him.
yes.
But what came out was that, and this makes sense, they announced on Monday that the State Attorney's Office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law, but highlighted that the deputy's actions are now being examined in an administrative review. To me, that looks like criminals. I mean, you don't just go up and punch somebody just like that.
Yeah, no.
Because it's not like a routine traffic stop or anything like that. He was driving without headlights, right? And well, that's what they said, that he was driving without headlights. He was asking what's his offense, and they didn't want to answer him. So he didn't even know what his offense was at the time. And I believe it was the district attorney or someone was being interviewed after the fact, and was telling him what he should have done, which was just comply if the officers are asking you to leave the vehicle, then just comply. But I wonder, if you have 5 officers standing, in the current climate that we have, racial climate that we have, especially in the US, there's 5 officers standing around you, and you're a black man in Jacksonville, Florida. You don't know why they're stopping you. You think you're not doing anything wrong. It's not like you're speeding or you have any drugs or you're a known criminal or anything like that. You're not gonna want to come outside of the vehicle, because look at what happened to Mr. George Floyd, who died, rest in peace, because of something like this. He wasn't resisting arrest. He just wanted to know why they were pulling him over. And at the end of the day, I don't believe they were even arrested, because what were you arresting him for? You need to state why you're arresting people. That is, well, U.S. law. You don't just have to come out of your vehicle. You have to tell me why you're pulling me over. And then after that, yes, I should comply. But you have let's keep the thing civil. And why are 5 of you around me? That's the part that I can't really get over, because somebody would have commented this, and I was looking into it. It's a bit of a conspiracy, but if it's that somebody, the officers were paid off by somebody to kind of bang this guy up a little bit. What was the reason for 5 officers for a traffic stop? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm actually seeing here in Florida, if a law enforcement officer lawfully stops your vehicle, you must comply with their request to exit the vehicle.
But you have to state why. What does lawfully mean in that sense?
Yeah. So the thing is, if they said, they did tell him that he was driving with because in the video he was talking to an officer who was not on camera.
Okay.
And the officer said, he told the officer, well, they pulled me over for not having my headlights on.
Oh, okay.
And the officer said, well, yes,
Okay.
So that was part of the conversation. Now, he did not want to come out of the vehicle for whatever reason, because he felt like maybe he did not violate any traffic laws or anything of the sort. He said it wasn't raining, and and as the district attorney said, you must wear your headlights you must have your headlights on if it's raining, foggy, or
at night or anything.
Yeah. So, and as the district attorney said, based on the video, it looked as though it was sunny. So his headlights probably didn't have to be on. Now, we don't know 100%, but yes, he should have come out of the vehicle. But that still does not...
It does not excuse.
It does not give a reason for what those officers did to him. He was not complying with their request to exit the vehicle. You don't break his glass. He said his glass was not working, which is why when the officers came initially, he opened his door. He could not wind down his window, right? They broke his glass, punched him in the face, pulled him out of the vehicle.
Punched him again.
Punched him again, had him on the floor, kicking him. They beat him up. They bullied him. There was no reason for that. He was not a criminal. So you can't, there's absolutely none. Now, I know when this goes to court, if it does, there's a number of things that or directions that it can go in, right? Because now the officers, as Jada read there, they did not do anything criminal.
According to law,
According
I
to the
would
law.
personally disagree.
I would disagree as well, because in no way you could beat up a man in the middle of the road, the side of the road, especially as law enforcement, without any justified answer.
He wasn't being physically combative at all.
He was no threat to them, and that's it. He was no threat to them. He had no weapons. He did not he didn't even defend himself. He was no threat to them, right? So I think that is criminal in itself. But if that's what if the law states, okay, well, who said that? The
district attorney's office.
Right, okay. Right? But so there's a number of things that I think could come out of it based on what we've seen, and that is if it goes in favor of the officers can say, well, I think the only thing that they have to push them is this law that he was not compliant, right? He just didn't, and he broke a law there, clearly, right? If they can prove that his headlights should have been on when it wasn't, something else as well, right? But what he can go on is that they did not, they vandalized his vehicle for no reason, and they assaulted him also for no reason.
And I mean, the way I look at
which
it
I
is,
think is a more of a crime than
anything. It depends on which court that they get to go to, because I know if it was a criminal court, he would lose. But if it was, I believe, they said they were evaluating it on an administrative review.
His lawyer
but if they go to
well, his lawyer would suggest and put things in place for whatever the best case that for him that he can win.
Yeah, what would need to happen, I think, is they need to be able to pull on the climate that they're currently living in. They need to be able to say, well, there's a reason why he may not have wanted to comply. That lawyer needs to harp on the fact that it was 5 of the officers for something that was so minor.
And they were aggressive
from the start. So all of that to keep in mind, if this is going to be presented before a judge, even before, maybe not a jury, but before a judge, all of this needs to be taken into account. You know, the current racial climate. I mean, there is a tension.
I think a big part of this case that should be, race should definitely be brought up and discussed in this case as well, because 5 white officers versus 1 young black male.
It looks bad, and then you guys are assaulting him. And he wasn't doing anything. It looks bad. And if the lawyer is able to get this in front of a sympathetic judge, these officers, the officers that punched him, they were named, and I believe that they were put on leave, and while they were doing the investigation. Right, the deputy who broke McNeil's window, or the victim's window, and punched him was identified by the sheriff as, well, not his full name, but D. Bowers, so Officer Bowers. I believe that they were put on leave. I've yet to confirm it, but from what I'm reading here, I believe he was put on leave. He needs to be take away his badge and his gun and throw him in jail, personally. Because you can't just go around.
It's a hate crime. It honestly looks like a hate crime. And a hate crime is something that should not be taken lightly, because if it's done once, it can happen again. And these are the kind of officers that the black community fear. And these are the kind of officers that need to not be in the position that they're in. Because they can't serve and protect, clearly. You can't serve and protect your own race. You serve and protect everybody. And if you can't serve and protect everybody, then you don't deserve to have a badge or a gun. So
that is where I will end that conversation, because Naomi is completely right. So Mr. Terrell Samuel would have commented and just told us hi. So hi, Terrell. He said hi, Naomi and Jada. So just hi, Terrell. Good morning to you. I hope you have a fantastic day. And good morning to anybody else out there, everybody else out there that is watching or listening or streaming us on whatever site you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. I believe that could bring us to the end of AM Prime this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the updates that we would have put before you. Just to give you a bit more context of what's going on around the world, in Trinidad and Tobago especially. we've had a lot of news come out. Specifically in Trinidad, it's more so about crime right now, especially with the state of emergency that we're going through.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to do an episode on that soon for you guys to get some more context, because we like to dive deep into our issues. So a couple of these stories that we would have highlighted today, we would be having follow-up interviews and follow-up discussions on. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any suggestions at all, you know that you can always WhatsApp us, you can Instagram, DM us, share your suggestions with us on WESN TV, WESN CC, or you can WhatsApp us at 682-9376. You can find Naomi at Naomi McNish on Instagram, or I am Jada McLeod on Instagram as well. So don't forget, you can always connect with us at any point in time. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So before we close today, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. This is a quote by Coco Chanel. In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different, which is, when you think about it, it's true. If you are different from the rest, then no one can replace you. No one can be like you or do what you do. Right? You are unique. You are one of a kind, and that's your superpower.
Yeah, I think I'm unique. I think I'm. Yeah. You know, remember when unique wasn't a compliment?
No, yeah. Because
now, yes,
people can associate unique with being weird or strange.
Odd,
odd. So.
But that's a good thing. It's a good thing to have your own personality in the face of whatever's the norm. Be you. And take care of people. Don't do anything stupid, but be you at the end of the day. Yeah.
Nice. Well said. All right, guys. So that brings us to the end of another show this morning. So do have a safe and enjoyable day. Continue to be inspired. Continue to stay informed. And we will see you back here again tomorrow morning. Also, Sean Michael Small on the hour, as you know, with Talking Points. So don't go too far. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Hi, I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist.